For me, this text has been one of the most enriching texts in my life because it teaches us that we all come with some kind of karma. We all come with things that we need to do and finish. And we don't want to sometimes. We want to run away. We want to say, no, I don't want to do this. But whether we like it or not, we have to face our wars and our battles. And I love this because for all of us householders, people who live in the world, we go through this daily. And even for the monks, they go through it all the time because this is life. So what is the Gita? So let me give you a little bit about the background. There are two brothers. One was called Dhritarashtra and the other one was called Pandu. And through a curse, Pandu really wasn't, he was what you call the fair-skinned brother. But through a curse, somebody cursed him, he wasn't able to have any children. But he married Kunti and Madri. In those days, they could have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 wives. It was very normal, you know. So it was just the way it was because they felt that the women would be looked after. So that all the women should have a home and the security of being looked after. Anyway, so through the grace of the gods, Kunti and Madri had 5 children. And this is a long story, but I'm not going to go into the Mahabharata because you'll think it's like the virgin birth kind of thing, you know. But it's very interesting, and you read the Mahabharata, it's really exciting and interesting, but you have to read it one day. So anyway, they have 5 children, and the eldest son is called Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira is, you know, one of these great spiritual people, so good, so kind, so wise, so compassionate, so in love with God and the universe and everybody. A wonderful eldest brother. Then they have Bhima, who is the second son, who has the most incredible strength in the world. So strong, so powerful. And then the third one is Arjuna, in the middle. And he's one of the greatest warriors. He's great at archery, he's very smart, but not so good like Yudhishthira, maybe not so strong like Bhima. Then you have, the second wife had twins called Nakula and Sahadev. And these, again, were very good boys with many talents. Okay? So what happens is Pandu lived away from their brother because his brother Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, had 100 sons. And 100 sons. 100. And the eldest one,
she was busy.
Yeah, busy. And the eldest one was Duryodhana. Okay?
And the same name as the uncle? No.
No. Dhritarashtra, his father. The uncle is Drona. No, Drona is the teacher. There's lots. You don't want to get confused, all right? There's so many names. I don't want to confuse you. I'm trying to make it really quite simple, all right? So you've got here 2 brothers. One has 5 sons, and the other one has 100. All right? So what happens? Pandu dies, and so the 5 boys have to go and be brought up by the other brother. So they live with 100 stepbrothers. But of course, because the 5 sons of Pandu are so loved, because they're so wonderful, they bear all the good qualities, Duryodhana, the eldest son, and his brothers, they all develop jealousy. Now, how come they're better at everything we do? You know, they're better at archery, they're better, so they develop this jealousy. So soon the boys realize with their mothers that they can't rule the kingdom together. So what do? They partition the kingdom, and the 5 brothers rule one, and the 100 with the father, the stepfather, rules the other. What happens to the kingdom of the 5 brothers? It prospers. It becomes rich. Lots of people go there. Because of their goodness, everything proliferates, everything grows, and then they're so famous all over India that everybody goes and visits them. So of course now, 100 brothers fueled with even more jealousy. So Duryodhana now starts to plot. He starts to say, I've got to get away to bring Yudhishthira here. He likes gambling. You see, even good people gamble. We'll get him here, but we'll cheat at the gambling game. He talks to his uncle, Shakuni. We'll cheat. We'll make him lose all the kingdom, because he cannot be embarrassed, but we'll cheat, and we'll do this in front of everybody, and they plan all this, okay? So they invite their stepbrothers, the 5 brothers, say, come to our house, and let's play a game, let's make friends, let's be together. And after this challenge, we'll all be one family. So the plot thickens. Oh, there it is. Sound effects. At this point, I'd like to tell you something. At this point, I'd like to stop and give you a little bit of the allegory, all right? Now, if you look at the Pandavas, there are 5. And the Kauravas, we call them the Kauravas, there are 100. And this is similar to our lives, our brain, our qualities. 100 negative qualities to 5 extremely good qualities. We are constantly at that. Alright? And I'll continue this later. So anyway, Yudhishthira comes to their house and he starts to lose. Another game, he loses a palace, he loses the gardens, he loses the whole country, and then finally, he even bets his wife, Draupadi. Because he thought, I can't lose, this is not possible, I'm really good at this game. So even in good people, there are weaknesses, right? It's interesting to watch. I can't lose. He didn't believe his stepbrother would cheat. He really didn't believe it, because it was all done, he thought, in honor. So anyway, so he loses, and this is a very, very, very famous story that's used in all the Hindu texts. And so they take Draupadi, who's the wife, and the Duryodhana says, now she belongs to us. We're going to strip her in public. And that's the worst insult for an Indian woman. So she's screaming. Now Draupadi, long story, is married to the 5 brothers. She's actually married to Arjuna, but they promised to share her. Okay, we don't want to go into the details because you'll ask me lots of questions. We'll leave it at the moment. So she's there and she goes, how can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? You know, help me, help me. And Bhima, the strong one, is so angry at his brother. How can you do it to her? And Arjuna is so angry. But the word of honor
stands.
Yes, they won her. So she's really angry and they start pulling her sari. And she's holding her sari and she's going, Krishna, help me, help me, help me. And they're pulling it and they're pulling it and she's holding it. And then she suddenly thought, you know, nobody can help me. So I'll just ask Krishna and I trust him to do whatever he wants. So she puts her hand up and says, Krishna, 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 look at my husbands, they can't help me. But you can help me, you can help me, I know you'll help me. And when she does that, and she doesn't hold the sari, they roll, and they roll it, and more men come to roll, and it just doesn't come off. It's like meters and meters, and it doesn't roll off. So they fall down in exhaustion. And what is the lesson there?
Surrender.
When you surrender to the highest, you see, we say we surrender. Many people, oh, I surrender, I can't do it anymore, but I'm going to do it my way. We hold on to our way. We want things our way. And then when you really reach a point when you're so angry and you see nobody on this earth can help you. Nobody on this earth. The people that love you most, that promise to look after you and care for you all your life have let you down. What else have you got left? What else have you got left? And that's the symbolism of this story. And you'll hear it a lot when you go and they'll talk about Hindu stories. This is one of the very, very famous stories to explain surrender, pure surrender. So anyway, so after that, Krishna interferes and says, you know, this is not right. This is wrong. There must be some cheating here, because this could not happen. But of course, they disagree, said, no, 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 we've won this fairly. So he comes with a suggestion. He says, why don't you do this? Let the Pandavas with their family go away for 12 years. And then on the 13th year, they can mix around with everybody, but incognito. In other words, you can't see them or recognize them. And if they can do these 13 years like that, and 12 years in the forest, and the 13th year, nobody finds them, then if they can achieve that, then you must promise them that you give them back everything they lost in this card game. That's honorable. They paid their debt for playing this game, and you give them back what belongs to them. Everybody agrees. So very sadly, they go into the forest, they suffer a lot, and many times over the 12 years, these stepbrothers try to find them, they send people out. In fact, they lived in many places, they tried to burn them, they tried to kill them, but always because they were honorable. And Yudhishthira used to pray, and all of them said, no, we just come, we must fulfill our dharma. This is our karma. We have to fulfill it, there's no way to do it. Just accept. So anyway, after the 13 years, they managed the 13 years. And if you read the Mahabharata, many of the stories are very, very nice. Nice to tell children, because children love all these exciting stories. So they finish the 13 years, and they come back. And so they go to Duryodhana, we've done it, and now you can give us back our land. And they go, and he goes, I won't even give you land the size of the point of a needle. And then the mother Kunti says, you know what, now you have to fight. You've done your tapas, you've done everything that you're supposed to do, you've been honorable. And after being so honorable for so long, they still won't give you back what they promised to. Now they are dishonorable. You have to wage war. So they didn't want to wage war, but they had no choice. So anyway, Duryodhana, Lord Krishna is God incarnated in this whole story. Like if Jesus is God incarnated, or these great souls is God incarnated. So Krishna was living at that time in a body. So he knew everything that was going on. And he knew that both brothers would ask for his help. So what happens is, he says, oh, they're both going to come more or less at the same time. What I'm going to do is lie on the sofa and pretend I'm sleeping. Let's see what happens. So Duryodhana comes first and goes, I'm first. I am first. So now Krishna has to grant my wish first. So he stands at the head very proudly. No, he sits on the head. There's a chair on the head of Krishna, and he sits on the head very proudly. Arjuna walks in. And in the Hindu culture, we were speaking about that earlier, when you're in front of a very great soul, you don't sit until they tell you to sit. So Arjuna stands up at the feet of Krishna as he's lying down. So of course Krishna opens his eyes, and the first person he sees is Arjuna. So Duryodhana said, you have to talk to me first because I came first. He said, you may have come first, but I saw him first. So you came first, I saw him first, so to be fair, I have to listen to you both, but I'll ask him what, I will offer what you ask me to offer, and then we'll see what happens. So Krishna says, now you're going to war. I'm going to tell you, I can only offer you two things, and you have to choose. He looks at Arjuna. I can offer you all my armies. I have so many armies. Or you can have me, and I will not fight, but I'll sit in your chariot when you are at war. I'll be sitting there with you. And Arjuna goes, of course, Krishna, of course I'm going to choose you. Of course, without you, what good is anything? Because Arjuna, in his physical body, has recognized something so holy in Krishna. I know him all his life as a family member, but he recognized something very holy in him. Without you, I can do nothing. And Duryodhana goes, thank God my brother's a fool. I got all the armies, and he's so happy he's got all the armies. So he said, we're going to go into war. After they both left, and Krishna thought, let's see if we can prevent this war. So he says, I'll give it one more chance. I'm going to give Duryodhana one more chance. I'm going to go to his house and tell him to make peace with his stepbrother and give them what they deserve. So he goes to the house, but then he has his vision and he sees that Duryodhana has made a fake throne for Krishna. And if Krishna sits on this throne, he'll sink into a pit and he was going to get him killed. But of course, Krishna had this being, God incarnated, had the vision. He had the vision. So he went on the throne and the throne collapsed, but Krishna could just levitate. And then he said to Duryodhana, I came here to give you one chance for peace. One more chance. But what? Now you've had it. You have had it. We are going to war and I'm with the Pandavas. And he left. So here starts the Bhagavagita. At this point, and if you look at this, up to this point, and you look at the allegory, how many times in our life we've given people chances and chances and chances. And it comes to a point, you're breaking. They're giving you 100 or 1,000 chances, you know, and you're not listening. Sometimes, if your motive is for the highest good, you have to fight. But your motive has to be for the highest good. Because many of us would like to run away from the fights. It's far easier. How can I fight with my family? And this is where the Gita starts. At the battlefield, you got Duryodhana, all the 100 brothers, and all the millions of armies. You got the Pandavas, 5 brothers, with a small army, but with Krishna. You got Krishna on the chariot with Arjuna. And he's driving the chariot. And they have 5 white horses. You know that. The 5 white horses represent our senses. Talking, seeing, smelling, you know, what we live in this earth with. And the reins that are held, if God holds your reins, then you will go in the right direction. Right? So this is and the chariot is the body, represents our body. This is the body we live in. When you trust the highest good, you feel much more safe. It means you still have to go into war. Doesn't mean you don't. So anyway, Arjuna says to Krishna, can we drive to the middle? This starts chapter 1 of the Bhagavagita. Can we drive to the middle of the field? Because I want to see what we're up against. Even though he's the 3rd brother, the average, the not so good and the not so bad, he has been chosen to be the warrior that leads this war. And again, the allegory. Not the best, not the worst. Somebody in the balance, you know. So it's very interesting because when you read this Gita, you can see there are many. You can read it once and 100 times and 1,000 times. Many things that the more you read it, you understand where your mind comes from and how you work with your battles. The first time you don't understand. The second time you don't understand. You read it the 4th or 5th time, you go, I really know. My answers are all here. What should I do when I'm at battle? And this is why it's such a precious, precious gift, the Gita. Such a precious gift. So anyway, there, Krishna takes them and Arjuna looks. He looks and he sees his grandfather, whom he loves, and the opposite too. Of course, the grandfather lived in the household of Dhritarashtra for so many years. How could he not be on their team? Do you see, sometimes people even know somebody is wrong and they can't help the right person out of obligation. Out of obligation. Then he sees his teacher, Arjuna sees his teacher who taught him his archery, who loved him above all else, on the opposite team. And he goes, that's my teacher. How can I hurt my teacher? And the teacher the same, even though he knew the others were right. The other family is the one who gave them the living, and he's been living with them all these years. See how life happens many times, don't you think, when something in your life goes wrong, and you say, but these are my friends, how come they didn't take my side? Hasn't it happened to you? That feeling? How come they're just taking the other person's side? How come they didn't say, I understand what you're going through? It's life. It's life. So anyway, he sees them, and then this is where I'd like to start reading the Gita for you. Did I take out that? I must have brought it. In my bag, yeah.
You haven't left it on the wall, have you?
No.
It's behind you.
It's behind me. Clever girl.
It's behind you.
It's right here and you don't see it. That's what Gurudev always said. You know, it's right here and you don't see it. It's far away and you see it. So I'd like to read to you this because this is my favorite copy. Well, the whole book is. I keep saying it's my favorite because everything is my favorite. So, oh, by the way, I have 2 of Gibraltar newsletters. If anybody can't get on the computer, yes. Okay, yeah, probably not. If you ask first, you get. Clever. Okay. So he sees all these people on the battlefield. It's okay, it's one of those days.
Glasses on there, isn't it?
This is what you get when you move house. No glasses.
What do you need? Glasses. Have you got some glasses?
No. Maybe I can read. Which are? No? Again, they're on my lap.
God's testing you today.
What is the message? What is the message? It's already here. Don't worry. That's what he said. You don't have to look. Everything you need is here. Because I didn't read today. I just was so busy. I just came without thinking. So, again, I'm protected. Everything I need is here. So, here he goes at the battlefield. And Arjuna, I'll read this to you, okay? Arjuna no longer saw them as enemies. Until then, he had regarded them as wicked. But the moment he stood between the armies, he saw these familiar categories instead. You know, sometimes when you're really, really angry with someone and you know you have to fight the battle, and then when you say, well, do I really want to fight it? I really do love them. They're really not my enemies. They're my stepbrother. They're this, they're that. On seeing his friends and relatives positioned on both sides, Arjuna was overcome with pity and said despondently, oh Krishna, my limbs fail me, my mouth is parched, my body is shaking, and my hair stands on end, seeing my relatives gathered here and anxious to fight. Arjuna's bow fell from his hand. My skin is burning. I can't keep standing, and my mind seems to be reeling. I see bad omens, Krishna. I cannot see any good resulting from the slaughter of my own people in battle. Krishna, I do not want victory, kingdom, or even pleasures. What use is there for kingdom, pleasures, or even life? Those for whom we might desire kingdom, enjoyment, and pleasures are here ready for battle, having renounced life and wealth. Before me are teachers, fathers, sons, and even grandfathers, uncles, father-in-laws, grandsons, brother-in-laws, and other relatives. Though they may kill me, Krishna, I do not want to kill them, even for the sake of dominion over the 3 worlds, much less just for this earth. What pleasure would be ours, Krishna, by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra. Only trouble will come to us for killing these murderers. See, he knows they are murderers. So, though their understanding is clouded by greed, see, he knows, though their understanding is clouded by greed, and they feel no guilt about exterminating an entire family or showing hostility towards friends. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Now look at Arjuna. When he sees all his family, he starts to get nervous. He starts to get scared. My limbs fail me. I'm shaking. I can't breathe. My body is trembling. My hair stands on end. How many of you felt like this in life when you just before a battle? The fear. The biggest battles in your life. The fear. And you go, what for? And he's saying, what for? He's telling Krishna, why should I do this? I do not even want the land. I do not want this. I do not want that. What's the point of killing these people? What's the point? What will I achieve? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then what pleasure would be ours? And then in the next breath he goes, even though they're greedy, even though they want to kill all of us, even though they want to do this, even though they're hostile, and the second breath, so he knows that they have all these qualities. He doesn't want to hurt them. So, and then he goes on and making many, many excuses. He says, if we go into battle, all the men die, and then I won't go into details. He said, when we go into battle, all the men die, and what will happen to all the women? They will be raped, and what's going to go happen? We can't do this. It will bring a lot of disruption, right? So why are we doing this? I don't want the kingdom. I don't want the pleasures. I don't want anything. It would be far better for them to kill me than for me to go into battle. And at this, Arjuna threw his bow and arrow on the floor and was overcome with deep sorrow. He saw what was ahead of him. Already in the battlefield. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to turn back. He really doesn't want to do it. So, when Krishna saw Arjuna overcome with sentiment, eyes blurred with tears of despair, the blessed Lord said to him, Krishna said to him, from whence arises this shameful and cowardly dejection, Arjuna, which at this dangerous moment bars your way to heaven? Look at that. He's saying, why have you become a coward? It's not that they didn't try to make peace. How many years? They did everything. So now we've discussed everything, we tried to make peace everywhere, we've done all this. So now why are you last minute becoming cowardly? Yield not to weakness. It does not suit you. Shake off this petty faint-heartedness. Stand up, scorcher of foes, wake up. Now he tries to encourage him, scorch our foes. See, Arjuna's reputation in the world that they lived in at that time. What was he born as? A warrior. He was known to be the greatest, the most righteous, the best of warriors, and everybody could trust him. So he says, everybody can trust. People feel protected when you are around. Now you want to leave it all because you say you don't want anything? What are you doing?
Like a Robin Hood.
Like a Robin Hood, yes. And then Arjuna said, oh Krishna, how can I ever fight with Bhisma, who's his grandfather, and Drona, who are worthy, they're worthy of my worship. How can I fight with them? It would be far better for me to live as a beggar than to kill these great souls who have been my teacher. Even if I were to kill them, my enjoyment of wealth and desires in this world would be stained with their blood. I am weighed down with weak-mindedness. I am confused. Wow, how many times have we said that in our lives? I am confused and cannot understand my duty. I beg of you to say what is right for me to do. I am your disciple. Please teach me. I have taken refuge in you. Now, here, he realizes when Krishna tells him that he's weak-minded, but he's still saying, still giving excuses. I know, I know they're bad, and I know I need to protect the people, and I know this, but I'm so confused because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to cause any pain. I really don't. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm confused. Help me. And this is where we get help from the universe. We talked about it again today outside. When you show humility, you see, always conversations are for a reason. When you show humility, and you bow before the teacher, you will get knowledge. You will get knowledge. We were talking about this. And he realized, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. Please teach me, because one side of him knew he had to go into battle, and the other side really didn't want to. So, he wanted to learn. And he goes, he explains further. You see, when a person doesn't want to do something, how many excuses will they give? Thousands, right? Because of this, and because of that, and because of this, and because of that. I do not see any remedy for this deep grief that parches my senses. Even if I were to achieve prosperous and unrivaled royalty here on earth, and even in the heavens. Now he's trying to tell Krishna, please, he's hoping to say all these things, so Krishna is going to tell him, no, you don't have to fight this battle, go home, right? This is what he wants Krishna to tell him, right? And then he goes and looks at Krishna and goes, I won't fight. I made a decision. Because Krishna doesn't say anything. He goes, I just won't fight. I'm not going to do it. Then, oh great, then Krishna seemed to smile. Because he understood him. He understood the psychology. He smiled at him and spoke these words to the despondent warrior who was standing in between two armies. You are grieving for those who should not be grieved for, while uttering would-be words of wisdom. The wise don't grieve for living or for the dead. Now, this is the first step in understanding what yoga really is. Here, Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna the meaning of what wise really is, what wisdom really is. And he says, you're grieving for them, you're feeling bad for them. Why? They don't deserve it. Do they deserve it? No, they shouldn't. Why should you grieve for them? They produced their own situation, didn't they? So don't I always say sometimes spiritual people, we feel too sorry for people who do bad things? And nowadays, why do we have so many criminals all over the world? Why are so many people disturbed? Because there's no guidance, there's no discipline. My husband was telling, how many times you've heard, my husband was telling me this when he was alive. He was reading an article in the papers, and he said, Johnny, look at this, how ridiculous. A robber goes and robs a man. This guy hits him on the head, causes an injury to protect his house. The thief takes the guy who owns a house to court. And guess what? He wins the case. It's madness.
Yeah.
It's absolute madness. Sometimes you have to defend what is yours. You have to, because that's what you were given to defend. But you see, our world is like that, so the world wasn't much different at that time. Huh? Human beings are human beings. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain to him. These people are doing wrong. You have to do something about it. You're the one that's been chosen. Then he says, don't you know what wise is? That which is embodied experiences the body's childhood, youth and old age, and also in time acquires another body. This does not disturb one whose mind is calm. Now he's explaining to him who he really is. He said, look, in this lifetime, in this one lifetime, you experience a baby's body, and then a teenager's body, and then an old age body. And from this old age body, you will get another body in another lifetime. So if you're really wise, you will not worry about it. So, as the senses contact the object of senses, as the senses, the 5 white horses, contact the object of senses. What are the objects of senses? Anything that is the senses are attracted to, as it makes connection to it. For example, if you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with a person, nothing wrong, right? What happens is you fall in love with a person, then you become possessive, then you want ownership, then you want jealousy, then that's when you become, what do you say in Spanish? Apega. I love the word.
What?
Apega, to get stuck, to glue onto, right? So yeah, it's correct. Is that correct?
Yes,
Is that the
we
word?
don't use it very often, but it is the word for attachment.
Attachment, yeah, to get stuck to, right? So he's saying, but if you know the truth, then you won't worry about these things. You won't. And of course, when you contact these things, you will feel, of course, you're going to feel hot, and you're going to feel cold, you're going to be pain, and you're going to have pleasure. It's life. These sensations come and go. They're impermanent. Patiently endure them. Great Prince. Now he compliments him. Yeah? He tells him, encourages him. You're a great prince. When you come to this world and you contact with this world, there will be heat and cold. There will be pleasure and pain. There will be all of that. But everything will pass. Everything will pass. So you're a great prince. Just patiently endure. So when people suffer a lot, and they go, oh no, I'm going through a really bad period. So many people, my husband left me, or my wife left me, or this one left me, that one left me. I go, the pain is there. You're going to feel it. You can go, why if, but, for months and months and months and years, 30 years crying. But what's the point? What's the point? Just patiently endure the pain. It's going to be 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. And once the time comes, the pain will go. You're impermanent. Don't get stuck on this one grief and cry and cry and cry, as most people do. We get so attached. We don't let go. We don't let go. So that's what he's saying. But this is normal that these things are going to happen. It's normal. And I love this. I love this patiently endure them. But that's all you have to tell people. You're going to suffer, but guess what? It'll pass. It'll pass. In fact, that person who is not tossed about by sense experiences and always stays balanced in pain and pleasure is fit to experience immortality. So when you understand this, and you can bear pain and understand it and patiently endure it, and when you can understand pleasure and know that passes as well, once you can do that, you become immortal. Why do you become immortal? Because you understand this is life, you have learned your lesson. There's no need to come back. This is the lesson you have to learn. So you just go through the rest of your life, pain, pleasure, watching it, and it'll pass, it'll come, it'll go. It's all, you see a divine play rather than, and you participate with love and joy. You participate with the pain, you participate with pleasure. And then you're fit for immortality. Know that all this vast universe is pervaded by that which is indestructible. No one can destroy what is everlasting and imperishable. Here he says, know the truth. Here's the truth. This makes you feel solid. When you know this truth, nothing can harm you. And what is this truth? You, whatever is here, will never die. This whole entire universe is made of a substance that is indestructible. The soul, the energy, cannot die. Know this. The body is just young age, old age, next body, but the permanence in you, you never die. It never dies. Once you know that you never die, you never die, you never die, a lot of the fear, a lot of, oh, God is going to punish me, what rubbish? A lot of all this kind of, oh, I did this bad, and all this story will leave your life. You don't need to hear all those things. You won't bother with those things. You won't bother making excuses. It is as it is, you'll say. It is as it is. And that's the difference, because you realize it's all impermanent anyway, and yet it's always permanent. Nothing dies. You will never die. So he tells him to know it. The indwelling one is eternal, indestructible, and immeasurable. Now, to get it into Arjuna's head, he tells him again the same thing. Your indwelling one, what's inside of you? Don't you understand? The indwelling one is eternal, indestructible, and you cannot measure it. The bodies of the indwelling one are impermanent. The bodies are permanent. You are permanent. Never die. Whoever thinks that Atman or the self does the killing or can be killed misunderstands. The soul never kills anybody. The real you will not kill anybody. The body just has to do the duty that's been meant to do or brought to earth to do. But the soul does not do anything. It's impermanent. It's indestructible. Doesn't get involved. Like Lord Krishna said, I will sit in your chariot, but I will not fight. That self doesn't kill, nor is it ever killed. It is not born, and it does not die. Unborn, eternal, and ancient. The self is not killed when the body is killed. What does that mean? You'll say, but I'm born. I'm born. It says it's never born, it doesn't die. What does that mean? I understand it like this. This is the way I understand it. You know, when I first read this, I could not understand it, but then, oh, it's very simple. Space is always there. Space is indestructible. It's space. If you look out, the universe is always there. It's there. It's there. We occupy that space. The body occupies the space, but the space is there. This is why when you're in the presence of a great soul, the energy, you can feel it. You can feel the energy transmits. Because why? The space is not limited anymore. And with a great soul, the space, they have more energy, they fill more space. So, because they're not limited to body thinking, this is my body, this is my life, this is all I have. And this is a body, has a job to do. Whatever the job is, I'll do it to the best of God's ability, not mine. So this is what it says here. Whoever truly knows the self, indestructible, again, see how many times he repeats it? So don't worry if you don't get it the first time. Correct. It repeats and repeats and repeats.
Like a mantra.
I feel like walking out because I'm still in chapter 1 after all these years.
I know.
Really, I'm sorry.
Why do you feel sad you're not in chapter 1. You're much further than you know. You just get caught in the pretties, that's all. Hey, give it time. Be patient.
Yeah, but like you are convinced. You know you are in the space. You are part of the space. I'm in the play. I like the play. I don't want to lose this, you know?
I like the play
And really,
too.
I feel...
You think I don't like the play? I love the play. I'm having fun with it. Look at
Yeah,
what a
but
pretty
you don't
sky.
fear dying. You don't fear moving on. You know. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I promised myself I wasn't going to interrupt.
Okay.
But
And you will know.
really,
You will. You will.
Maybe you haven't come face to the death.
She
Very
has.
I don't want to.
Ah,
She lost her
Oh,
brother.
but you mean with a relative?
yes,
or-
yes.
She lost her brother, and it hit her very hard. So,
And there I could tell that the body's something different to what makes us.
Yeah.
But still, you know,
I think
I'm not acting out of fear because when may I carry on now?
we should
Sorry.
carry on.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Sorry.
They've all
Because when you read that part, I instantly felt, you said Arjuna was not acting out of fear. But I really felt that he wasn't acting out of goodness. He didn't want to hurt anyone. He wasn't acting, so far, what's come across to me is he wasn't fearful. He just didn't want to commit harm, which could also be different. I mean, I'm not saying I'm Arjuna because I don't act out of fear. But is it different?
It is. He did not want to cause harm. But he was placed in a position of great responsibility, whether he liked it or not. You know, we are given things to do in this life sometimes we don't want to do. And yet we know we need to do them. Isn't it true? Duty. And his karma brought him back as a great warrior. Otherwise he would have been made a Brahmin and a priest, and he could have gone to the mountain and said, I don't need to fight, I'm a Brahmin. In fact, a Brahmin and a priest should not fight. Should not, because then even when a war comes to them, they should not fight, because that is not their battle. They're Brahmins. They should stay out of it. Do you understand? Look at his duty.
But then Lord Krishna's given him the explanation, saying that the soul is not dying.
Yes.
It's only a body. He's given him the answer for his worry of harming them.
Yeah,
He's
whether
saying
it's
that
fear
you are
or
not
goodness,
really
it's-
harming them.
Yes, correct.
But he's saying
Yes,
he's
correct.
putting the immortal and mortal
Yeah.
against each
So
other.
that
They're very
when you're
clever.
trapped in the body, whether it's fear or, like for me it's fear. I can't seem to break out of,
Arjuna is the same. Same. Exactly the same as what you were saying. So maybe the Gita is here for you today, Gita. That is your thing. So you will achieve the song of God. Don't worry. Patiently endure your mind stuff. Patiently endure it. It will pass. It's impermanent.
I think it's the greatest knowledge we have ever learned here.
Me too. I have to thank my master very much for this knowledge. I do every day. I'm very grateful for it. And my father. My great teachers in life.
And me too.
yes,
So-
it's true. I know it's the best thing we've ever heard.
It's a struggle. And you do not want to fight.
No, but I also don't want to sit in a room waiting for the fear to go.
So your answer will come. Your answer will come. It will come, don't worry. When you ask, you always receive. Sometimes it seems a long time in getting the answer. Sometimes you feel I'm never going to get the answer I need. But the message there is just wait. Just wait. When the time is right, everything will come to you because you have patiently endured. Oh, may I tell you a beautiful story of the car, or is it wrong to tell the story?
No,
I tell it. Would you like to tell it?
No.
Ole, would you like to tell it? No. Ole and Kim, who are sitting there, they've been running around with this broken down car for the last few years. And it's really no more window. And they make enough to feed their family and take them to school. But I have no extra. And recently Kim's taken on a job, so she works and she teaches in her spare time. But still, these things cost a lot of money. So they've been worried, where's the car coming from? And the place where she has worked offered them this car, this beautiful car, which I saw on Saturday, which Ole took to help me pack all my last minute boxes because I was in so much pain. I didn't tell him, but he so kindly went to my house, picked up all the boxes and brought them, the rest of my boxes to me. And this beautiful car that they got for $1,000. It's beautiful. It's like a bus. Isn't it beautiful?
It's like a bus.
It's like a
Family bus.
It's a Chrysler Voyager,
People
seven-seater.
carrier.
Wow.
Like a people
Yes.
carrier.
through Kim's work. They said, wait, wait, wait.
It's
Patient,
wow.
patient.
Great.
Yeah, patient. Now, when I saw that car, I go, "Ole, no way you could get this car for $1,000. Just no way. Tinted windows, lovely doors. It's right." He said, "Not me, Kim." So, and the way they got even that €1,000 to pay for it is another miracle. Let them tell it themselves. So, everything works for the good when you patiently endure. This time they really wanted to see it through themselves without asking anybody for any help, and do it trusting God this time. It's very hard when next day you know your car may break down, you've got kids that go to school, you've got groceries to buy. First, her work gives her a moped. She bears that too. And then, when I saw this car, I just really, on Saturday morning, it made my day. I thought, if this isn't a miracle, what is? And I thought about God, Arjuna saying, you know, Lord Krishna saying to Arjuna, because I love this line, patiently endure. 1 year, 2 years, how long have they been enduring? 9 years, 10 years, enduring one loss after another loss. They lost their home, then they lost something else, and just endure, just endure. And they suffered, it's not that they didn't. Trust, endure, trust. I know the highest good is looking after me. And really, when I saw that car, I cannot doubt that they will always be looked after now. Because they did the test of 12 years. 12 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So, and so this, you know, obviously when I'm reading it today, I see that picture of his face coming to my outside my house to help me with boxes and saying, "This is Kim." Kim visualized it so much. They
Depends
worked
on
hard.
anger involved though as well.
Yes, like Arjuna. Do you see?
Yeah.
And you have to go through
Yeah.
all those emotions, anger, blame, all those things. But it's not the body. I'll stick to the good old patience, and then you feel bad about it. Go, why did I do this? But accept it. I'm not this body. Maybe the body. You were saying earlier on, Lizzie, that what did she say? She said, the thoughts. You were saying you said a lot of things to me outside. I just realized.
A couple of minutes.
Yeah, a couple of minutes, you see, that's all you need. You were saying that the thoughts sometimes, no, we're sorry.
Yeah, I was
The thoughts just come, she said. They just come, and you don't know where they come from. And they just come, and you just have to do it.
Yeah, thoughts of the, you don't want to have it.
You
It's
don't
like-
want to have it. Yes, you were saying it, sorry, yes. I don't want to have it. It just comes. And you have to sometimes express those thoughts. But don't take such responsibility. You know, you know what Gurudev used to say to me, which I love? He said, you know, sometimes Nalani, you don't like yourself because you have these horrible thoughts. In the early days, I was greatly troubled, like you, by this horrible mind. If you can say, you know, God made you think it, so let God handle it. Let him handle. You don't have to handle it. God to handle it. Just watch it and let it go. And you know, that's what I learned to do. Now I have fun with the thoughts. They don't bug me. Like before, guilty. Oh my God, I had a bad thought. What a lot of nonsense. No, it came, it's going to go. I know my heart doesn't want to hurt anybody, and that's what I can do. But if these thoughts come, must be a reason God wants me to be rude to this person. You know, so I'll be rude. I accept it. They don't like me, no problem. No problem if they don't like me. How many people have gone, oh, how dare she, and walk away? It's okay. I feel God put the thought there. My thought in saying them is, I want you to be the best you can. It's never to put people down. Never that comes in my mind or my brain. That never comes. Is I want you to do the best you can, because I know you can do it. Sometimes you just want to say, shake them and say, wake up, don't you know who you are? You're divine. You can do anything. You just don't believe that you can do everything, but you can do everything. And that's my message to people. You just don't forgot. And that's what he's telling to Arjuna as well. You just forgot who you are. Don't get so involved in this petty stuff.
I often feel, you know, that without the body and the mind, we will be okay.
But it still
comes to my mind, you know, the body's always saying, oh, pain there, when you sit still. I thought, oh, blaming body is always trying to disturb me. Who are you to disturb me? I tell my body quite often. Then the mind comes and I said, you're the second one, like the two bad twins. Okay, twins.
The terrible twin.
Yeah, they're disturbing me from time to time, and I'm thinking, go away.
It's a good one to
They come to teach you to love them too. Pleasure or pain. You know, I learned something very wise from my father when he had cancer and he had pain all over his body. I never forget, it was New Year's Eve, I tell this story. I think I must have told somebody. He'd come out of hospital 2 days before New Year's Eve. He had laser treatment, he had prostate cancer. It keeps you young, it keeps your muscles moving, it makes you exercise, you know. But that's all by the by. But when you have the deep faith, it takes you to a very real place in your worldly living. How do you build the faith? Faith, go back to your practice every day. This week, this is your homework, right? Who am I? What am I? It is going to be well. Doesn't matter if scary things happen. It's going. I'm going to get over it. I'm going to surf the wave. I am going to. When? Up to you, universe. I will just do my bit till you say when. I'm not in charge of when. I don't know when I'm going to die. So when this is going to come to me, I don't know when. Let it go of the when. But I trust if the thought has come to me, it means that something has to happen. Otherwise the thought wouldn't come to you, would it? Now just learn to purify your thoughts so that the right instruments come and occupy your mind. The right thoughts come. And how do you do that? By being in a joyful environment, by being in a loving environment. Try not to be in negative places. Shankaracharya, the great saint of the 6th century, said, stay with positive people. Be in satsang. Be in higher energy. And you will vibrate to be your best that you were born to be. Go into down lower company and it will drown you because it will make you well wedded into this earth. And one day you're going to die and none of that is coming to you. In fact, Shankaracharya was passing a village and he saw this man of 80 studying grammar. He said, you're 80 years old. Why are you studying rules of grammar all day, struggling with rules of grammar? Are you blind? Because why are you calling me blind? And he goes, you're 80. What's the next step? What should you be studying now? Study about your spirit. Study about who you are. Study about that which will last you. Don't be blinded. What's the point at this age? He was trying to make a point that we get so embedded, even at an old age. Now, how many people have you seen? They're 90 and they go, oh, oh, when I do this and when I do that, and they're still so attached. I don't know if you've seen, but I have seen. So attached to all the things, and I'm thinking, there's so many children who could do with the help. All they have to do is give it all away to the children, sell it, and what do you want to keep it for? I mean, keep something for a rainy day, look after yourself. But all this hoarding, and it's just around the corner and they can't be generous even to their own family. And I think, what's the point to work your entire life to die when you haven't enjoyed the joy of giving, the joy of loving, the joy of caring, the joy of making somebody smile by a kind gesture? Isn't that joyful when you see somebody smile because you've done something kind or nice, or you've just given them something that they liked, or it just... No amount of money can pay you for that. And in your deathbed, that's what you remember. I can guarantee that because my husband remembered the good things he did. I remember that when I was in Hong Kong, one of my trips, and my part-time help at that time in Gibraltar, her husband passed away and she didn't have much money. So he called me on the phone. And that time life was a little tough for us because we had 2 kids in boarding school. And it was really expensive, so all our finances went towards the boarding school fees. And he calls me on the phone, he said, "Darling, would you mind if I paid for the funeral?" I was so touched. I said, "I would love it. And I'm even happier that it's come from you and not from me. I'm so proud of you, darling." So what? What does it mean? We won't go for a few days or we won't have one holiday? No problem. Do you know how good it made him feel? And when he was dying, what did he tell me? He said, "I'm so glad I paid for Carmen's husband's funeral. Then we paid for the daughter's wedding." It was such a nice gesture from him. It's easy to give when you have a lot. It's not so easy to give when you don't. And that's where the treasure is. That is where the treasure, and that's where it will multiply. It will multiply. So if you are not a very loving person, then learn to be more loving. And that's where your life will multiply. It will multiply in love. If you're a serious person, learn to be not so serious, tell some jokes, etc. Go on the internet, memorize some jokes. She loves to tell some jokes. I never was good at telling jokes. Now I'm learning. Do you know who taught me? Mataji. Do you remember Mataji?
Yeah.
I must look for it in my stuff. She gave me a whole lot of jokes. And then she goes, "Oh, Nalanie," she was reading me one joke in the kitchen. She goes, "I think this is a little naughty." And I said, "What do you mean a little naughty?" It talks a little bit about sex. And I said, "Okay, it's okay, Mataji, it's normal. It's life." She's so sweet. But her jokes, she made us all laugh, It was just, all morning I was cooking for her in my kitchen. She was telling me one joke after another joke, and I was, "Mataji, you come cook and you're making me laugh so much, And then I just thought how wonderful life is when you're making people laugh. What are your qualities? What do you lack in? Develop that quality. That's your work. And that's how you bring joy. It doesn't have to be in great things. What did Mother Teresa say? It's not in the great things you do, it's in the little things you do greatly. It's in the little things you do greatly. And that makes your life godly. It makes it whole. It makes it full of love. Your little charity to your garden, to your plants, to your animals. They're still there, they're life. It's all life, treating your things nicely, looking after your home. It's all life, it's all energy, it's all consciousness. Whatever you respect and look after will look after you in return. It was funny, the other day I was talking to someone, a few months ago I was talking to someone, I said, "I'm very lucky, my white trousers, they last so long." And then I realized why. I look after them. Of course, I look after them. They look after me. If there's a stain, I'll go and clean it immediately, always. Then I put it in the wash, and then it goes into the wash. But white for me is very precious. So, and it looks after me, and you look after your clothes, it looks after you. They last you for years and years and years. It's your house. If you look after it, when it's got a little dampness and you immediately attend to it, it's good. But when you say, "I do it next year," and next year. And then it gets so bad that you have to spend thousands to fix it. Isn't it true? So you can see in life, people are the same. When you look after them, they'll look after you 1,000-fold. But if you're not bothered and all the time, I, me, mine, my world, then why doesn't anybody look after me? Why should they? Why should they? What have you done for them that they should all come running after you? Why should they? Why do you think everybody should look after you? I don't know how many times I've told that to people. Oh, I'm a good person. Yeah, really? What have you done that's so good? Oh, I look after my family. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Very few people don't, and then they go to homes and these charities, who most people do, right? What's the big deal? So what makes you so good that the whole world should be thinking of you? I went to this party and I was talking and nobody was listening to me. So maybe you talk more than you do, that's why nobody listens to you. Have you thought about that? Haven't you seen people talk big and they don't do anything with their lives? Everybody walks away and they're still talking. Then they come to me and say, nobody likes me. Why? I'm a good person. What have you done for it? You have to earn respect. And how do you earn respect? By loving the qualities that you are given and working with those qualities to the best of your ability. It doesn't matter how great you are, or what a great artist you are, or what a great musician you are, or whatever you are. It doesn't matter, beautician, computer expert, mechanic. It's how you do it. And when people see you go to a mechanic and they really care about, oh, you know you got this wrong, you put it in as a great mechanic. And you do this and they give it so much love. You go back to the mechanic over and over again. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you go back over and over again? So when people come to you and you treat them like that machine that's been sent to you, and you take the best out of them and say, oh, maybe you should smile a little and then life will be good. You take the best out of them. And that's what you'll get in your life. Because it's a boomerang. As you sow, isn't it simple? So watch what the bleep do you know. It really is good because it puts it very simply. And quantum physics. What is quantum physics? What is anything? What is everything? It's all one in the end. It's all one. We're all one. We all come from the same ball of light, and we'll all go back to the same ball of light. We're all over the world. We see the same sun. We see the same moon at different times because we're in different parts of the earth. But the same sun is seen by my mother in Hong Kong as I see it here. It's the same sun. It's not a different sun. We all see the same things from different angles. And that is the truth. So from unreal to real, from darkness to the light. Because when our mind is in darkness, we cannot see the truth. And the truth is now. And we cannot see who we are. We forget who we are. We forget our peace. We go moaning and groaning. Not everybody. I think you guys do, right? Thank you. I think you love your life, yeah? You love your life?
Yes.
Everybody can say, I love my life.
I do.
Yes! That's good. I love it. As you think?
You become.
I love my life. It's an adventure. It's full of color. It will become full of color. But don't expect like tomorrow, now. But maybe it happens. Who knows? Could happen tomorrow. Could happen next week. I don't know. Only you know. And your joy of living. Because if you are joyful, they'll be sent. People will be sent to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you remember when Rick was asked us before just the holidays about what to say to his friend because he was dying?
Yes.
And everybody else was a bit odd with it. What happened in the end? Rick is the one who saw him through his death and came out as an example to everybody. Because he had the thought, maybe I should do this now. And he did it. And it was great. And he attracted that to him. And you attract that to you. Because it came from such a deep, sincere place. No fear. Talking about death to somebody who's about to die and they're not wanting to die is not easy to do. Any of you done it? Not easy to do. I've had people shout at me because I've told them that they're not going to make it. But they've thanked me afterwards. But I didn't mind. I really didn't mind that they got angry. As long as I prepared them and prepared my family. because the doctors did it. And they were so grateful later on. So many people shouted, you don't expect anything. Always do everything for service of mankind. That's what they ask. This person asked me, what do you think? And I said, you really want the truth. And I have to give you the truth. But you know really what? And later, yes, I accept it. It's not so easy. So this is the mantra we use to elevate ourselves. And that's it for today. I mean, I can talk about the real to unreal all day long. But all I know is that this minute is real and my time is up. And you all have families to go to and friends to go to and dinner to eat, and that is real at this moment. Are there any questions? Yes?
Just want to say it's wonderful to have you back.
Oh, I just want to say it's nice to be back. That's really nice to be back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we finish with a little holding along?
And for a man, that's very difficult. And he must have been about 83 at that time. And he came home from hospital in great pain. And he goes to me, he goes, Nalanie, what can I do? My poor body has to suffer this karma. Poor body, I'm sorry you are suffering. And yes, he tells us all, he's taking us to the hotel for dinner, all us family. And we say, Dad, you just come out of hospital, 83. Your mother should dress up. Your mother needs to get out with the family. If I stay home, she'll be thinking, worrying. Your mother needs a break. She will dress up, she will go to the hairdresser, she will color her hair, she will wear her beautiful sari, she will wear the jewelry, and she'll be happy. And he did. He was dancing with me, midnight, with me and my mom, and he said to me, God is great that he has allowed me to do this. That love, I mean, I've not seen it in anyone. And I looked at Dad and I said, you are definitely a saint. I saw him do it. You know, wow. And my uncle is very much the same. He's 88 now, travels all the time, all over the world, but still doing charity every night out. And I go, just been in hospital in Singapore for a week. He's throwing a party for all the staff in Hong Kong. How does he do it? He's 88, you know, and running all the hotels and all the businesses. And you go, you see, there is a power that they have so much faith in. They have so much faith in God that the body is aching and the body is this, but they still can carry on with that energy. It's amazing for me to watch. Wow. That kind of energy can't come from you. It just cannot, not possible. So where is it coming from? That self.
You told us once that your father asked every morning for Shakti.
Yes.
And
Yes, you
got it.
remember.
And you got it.
Shakti. And I used to tell my mother to do it.
Yeah.
Every month, because my mother used to complain about her back pains. Every month. And he was dying of cancer. And he would go, no, Chandra, just pray. Just say Shakti there, which means give me strength. Give me peace. Give me Shanti. Give me Shakti. Give me Shanti. Give me Shakti. And my mother would go. And even on the phone today, I spoke to her. I said, Mom, sorry I haven't called you so long. I have no phone line. And I will tell you I love you. She said, Nalanie, I'm not alone. God is with me. Daddy taught us that. So these great lessons over years of repetition and repetition and repetition and repetition, they become part of you. And the other day I left Bev in the house. I said, I'm sorry to leave you alone. I'm just going off. Yesterday. And she goes, no, I'm not alone. You're not leaving me alone. Good answer. God is with me. Good answer. Good answer. God is with me. Good answer. Because then you don't feel so scared. The fear that you feel just dissipates. It's that feeling of being alone in this world. It's really quite frightening. Try not alone. At all. Ever. 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 So, On that note, is it time for me to finish today, or should we?
Already?
Yeah. Oh, some more, a little bit
Little
more.
bit
more. Yeah. Okay, 15 more. Yes. Yes, Ole, you had a question.
No, I just
Oh,
wanted to
there's
say
something to
that
share?
I've named the car the Godmobile.
The Godmobile.
Godmobile. Oh, that's good. Godmobile.
Yes, where did it come from? Only God knows.
Really quite something. Really quite something. I really was quite impressed by God's wow, miracles. It's nice when you see it like this, you know, because I know how long He's been talking about a car. It'll come, it'll come. And a few months ago, He said about the car, and go, God, can you really hurry up with this?
You're talking about Kim.
Pardon?
Kim is the one who's been talking about
Yes.
a car.
Kim is the one.
They needed it to get around.
It was necessity, you see.
Yeah.
What is necessary, He will be
Safety
provided.
for sure.
Yes. In goodness, it will be provided. It was for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. She wanted a beautiful car. Maybe she would not have got it. She got a practical car. So, so here, these are beautiful gems of wisdom that, you know, really, if you got the Gita, bring it. Are we doing Gita next week here?
No, it's another topic next week.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
Gita.
It's not Gita. Okay.
We were going to do Gita last time and we didn't.
Because we started a week late, remember we said remember?
Yeah, because I delayed it because I was moving.
Would be good to do another one.
We can change
Basic
it.
death, finding peace is next week's.
No, we continue with the Gita. This is all about death anyway.
Yeah, you can bring it out. Some people bring it
We'll
with
bring
out.
it, bring the Gita with us.
Exactly.
This is all about
Yeah.
death. This is all about that you do not die. So he tells you, in what way would such a person kill Arjuna? Who can you kill? You're the soul, you're the spirit. You're not going to kill anyone. Why do you take personal responsibility? Don't take personal responsibility. Then he goes on to say, just like casting off worn out clothing and putting on new ones, that which is embodied casts out worn out clothing and puts on a new one. In other words, just like if you throw an old coat away, will you cry over it?
Do you know what that line always reminds me? Because I
Yes.
have read that line so many times. It brings me like a midsummer dream into my mind. Play that line. It's so beautiful.
Like a what?
Midsummer dream, like Shakespeare, Midsummer
yes,
Dream.
yes.
I'm thinking of that play when I hear that.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That's a lovely play. It's like, oh yes, it's a play. It's a play. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
There was
Bye-bye.
another man. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
So he says, so just like casting off worn out clothing and putting on new ones, that which is embodied casts off worn out bodies and enters others that are new. So think of your body as an old clothing. When it gets old, try to don't worry too much. If we're meant to have more life, we'll get a new body, probably a healthier one. Depends on our karma, what we do with our body, how we look after it, how we care for it. We'll just get a new one. So don't worry too much. Good. So achy, I know how you feel. I've been very achy. I've been carrying boxes and go, oh my God, I think I'm 20 and I'm 57 now, you know. You have to remember those things because you don't feel age. The soul does not feel the age, but the body does. So you realize the body is unknown. I quite like this feeling because it's a reminder. For me, I look at it as a reminder that this body is impermanent. So it's a good, you know, so when I have pain, I think, wow, this is really good. It's impermanent. Who wants this? Who wants it permanently? We'll just get older and older and older anyway. So, and then it goes, weapons do not affect the self. Weapons do not affect the self. Fire does not burn it. Water does not wet it. And wind does not dry it. So when you see weapons and you get scared, no, the body can be killed, but you can't. When you fear burning, many people feel that they'll die burning. Don't worry about it. You cannot burn. The body will burn. But anyway, many people say when they have awful deaths, many people have come back when they think they're going to have an accident or whatever, and they say, that moment, the consciousness is gone. So, don't worry about these things. The soul does not die. Water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it, fire cannot burn it, weapons cannot cut it. That is who you are. The self cannot be pierced or cut. It cannot be burned, moistened or dry. It is endless, all-pervading, stable, immovable, and everlasting. Again, the same thing. So how many times you said it? Again and again and again and again. It is said to be unmanifested, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing all this, there is no cause to grieve. So don't feel sorry for anybody or anything. You think you're killing somebody, they will not die. They will not die. You will not die. Just as you will live, they will live. They're always going to live. They'll have another body to do their karma. But you have a job to do in this world. You have this body to do your duty. So don't worry. Everybody is going to live. Even your enemies are going to live. And if you read at the end of the Mahabharata, actually, at the end of the war, when of course the good guys are going to win, because righteousness always wins, right? It's just a play, just to have a play to live in. And when they go up to the heavens, Arjuna sees Duryodhana in the heavens and he goes, what is he doing here? Why is he in heaven after all that? Well, that's another day and another story. It makes you laugh. It's all plain. Nobody ever dies.
Do you think God realized how complicated this play could get?
I think God is co-creating the play. For me, how I see this is, I always see it like a tapestry. You know when you do cross-stitch a tapestry? You got the tapestry all done up. When you buy it from the shop, and they sell you the tapestry, and they give you all the threads. But until you put in all the threads, it's not finished, right? And how you put the threads will make the tapestry as beautiful, as ugly as you like. Some people are very untidy, very pretty from the outside and very ugly from the backside. Some people are perfect. But either way, in the end, you will see it perfect. It will be done. How you do it. Some people will get cut and say, oh, I don't want to do this, it's too painful. So they leave it for years and years and years, and one day they pick it up, and they have the strength to do it, they don't mind getting poked. But the tapestry is done. How long you want to take, it's up to you. That is the gift. How many bodies you want to take to realize the self is up to you. That's the freedom. That's how I have learned to see it. The freedom is, how long do we want to take? But until we finish that tapestry, we have to keep coming back and back and back. We complain too much, we have to go back to the beginning again, like snakes and ladders. But always moving forward. Because even in snakes and ladders, when you fall down to the bottom step, you can still go back to the top. Always moving forward till the game is over. And for me, this is the way I can understand it. Of course, it is far too great for me to ever really understand or explain, because no human mind or human voice can know that which is eternal and so huge. We can't. It's not possible with this mind. But these are the analogies that I can use that help me to understand the bigger picture. So I feel the bigger picture is there for me already. And let me just not complain or get too excited that I lose my balance, both ways. Don't chase after pleasure and don't run away from pain. And then I can enjoy the tapestry, whatever it is that God has given me. And that's how I see it. And that's how I see it for everybody. So for me, there's no bad or good. I don't see life like that. I don't see life as punishment. I see it all as a learning to finish this great tapestry. I see that we forget, that's all. Just to be reminded. And there has to be good and bad in this world. Have some fun. So, read the Bhagavagita one day. It'll blow your mind. It's a very big book. It's a very big book. Explains many things. That gunas on the earth, we are subjected to many, many powers. We are earthly powers. That's why you have pollution. That's why you have energy fields. Because we live in this field. Do they work? Yes. That's why we're born under certain horoscopes. That's why we have certain numbers, and she will be able to tell you on that. She's getting really good with numbers now, Shanti. She got an email asking about numbers the other day. See, people are thinking about it. But we're born with certain characteristics. And yoga is the science to overcome them, to know our weaknesses, to know our strengths. And when we know the 5 Pandavas in our mind, and we focus on that, and we know the 100, Kauravas in our mind, and we try to let the 5 good senses win over all the 100 negative voices. But this is what we are battling with every day. This is the challenge called life. Otherwise, there is no life. And like you said, sometimes you feel, why do I have a body? It would be so much easier. But then we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have communication. And I remember when my granddaughter Tara was very small, she said to her mom something that was so interesting. She said, "Mommy, I don't want to die." And then Shani goes, "Why? Why do you even think about death? You're 4 or 5. She goes, "Because, Mommy, I know if I die, I cannot hug you and I cannot eat. I cannot eat. I cannot enjoy food." Simply said by a child's mouth. I cannot do those things if I die. It's almost like she knew she had to come to earth to hug her mother and to eat. It was so funny. And she has this thing with food. It's quite interesting. I always say, "Tara, did you starve in your last life?" Because she has this thing with food. She
It's
was
so
very
young
upset.
to talk about death, but then maybe that's also
She's
because you
forgotten.
speak very openly about death in the family, so maybe from the very
It's
young
easy.
age.
It's very easy. But that was 4 or 5. But she doesn't even remember any of the things she saw. Now.
That's so important for children. They should have yoga at school from early age, because if I wouldn't have come across, if I wouldn't have been ready to have my teacher, my little granddaughters, whose mother died when one was 2 and one was 5, wouldn't have come to the church with a peace, because I've been able to give them the life and death in the normal way through my master Nalanie, and they have no fear. They know the mother's there, mother's gone, like putting the needle into the balloon, like my little Lila says. That's how mother went.
How lovely! How lovely!
And because she's buried, and we can now cremate her after 5 years, we were talking about it, that to them it's natural. And she said to me, she's 7 now. We can do that together. When Mommy will be 40 next year, and I lit the match.
Oh,
And I what? And I like the match. Because
See, no fear.
no,
There's
not at
no
all.
fear at all.
And I am so grateful for that.
Oh, and I'm so
great
grateful that you
foundation for a
passed it
child.
on.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, and you watch this little one there, and he goes off and he comes.
But
Yeah, I
Can
see
you
it.
see him?
Yeah.
He's going to be, we always knew it. When he grows up, he may go through teenage,
And he's there for a reason.
very crazy.
Oh, yeah.
My
He
son
may.
has
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah,
He
but
takes
will
lot
be
in.
incredible human being.
He takes a lot in.
Yeah.
My son has been several times, now he's 9, he has been several times so afraid of dying or losing us. Like so afraid.
Yes.
Such young
But I don't
ages,
know, I
yeah.
think it actually, I now later on looking back, I think he was so sensitive to feel my fear.
Yes.
Because I was very fearful, very, very fearful, So, but I didn't understand where did he get the question and all these things. But now afterwards, maybe it was me because I was so.
You could feel it.
Yeah,
Children
definitely.
feel. They feel their parents.
Nalanie, you know, in the summertime I was going somewhere, Keen and I was in the car, and I was going to a house party. It was actually Keezy when she was living with Hugo at the time, and I couldn't find the way. I said, I think I've gone the wrong way. And Keen says to me, Mum, don't worry. Nalanie always says, if you take the wrong road, don't worry. You can just turn back and take the next one. That's exactly. I was in the back of the car, and I was driving the car. I just looked in the mirror, and I was like, freaky. He says, yeah, don't worry, just maybe his turn, come back and take the next one. Like such a simple thing to say, but it was true. So he listened.
I borrow him.
Yeah.
And how wise you are.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah, you're wise. What's a free?
No, nothing.
Nothing. We're just Oh, well, we were saying a story about your mom nearly getting lost when she was going to a party, and you told her not to worry. You said, don't worry. Yeah?
You reminded
Yeah,
her
yes,
on how
yes,
to
That
think.
was so good.
Yeah, well, kids are like that. You see, they
They're
don't want
amazing.
other
Yeah,
people to know
exactly.
this. My Tara is the same. They don't want people to Granny, don't. And then when I tell her later at home, she goes, yeah, did you really say that in
Yeah.
public?
They get embarrassed.
It's like you
Yeah.
say, and even in this young age, that you say we have a fear of shining.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
they maybe also get from us.
Yes. Maybe. Who knows? But I
Yeah.
don't think so with the
Well,
mother.
I don't
No.
mean necessarily the
Yeah.
mother, but it's in school in
Yes,
general,
schools,
from,
they pick
from
up.
society.
Yes.
We pick up the
Fear
fear
of
of
shining. Yeah. Being different.
Because
Ah,
I'm sure
that
all
is
agree is
true.
strong.
Yes.
It's not,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it's,
is.
Very true. It happens a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Fearful of shining. They're fearful of being their best.
Yes. Too bad.
They really feel it's interesting.
And Nalanie, another funny story. We moved into a new urbanisation a couple of months ago, and one of the little children was being a bit naughty, and they stole Keen's bike and took the bike, and we couldn't find it and stuff. And then he came and says, Mum, like it's really bad what he did, and he's after hurting my feelings. I said, don't worry, honey, we'll get the bike back. And the next day something happened to the little boy. I think he fell. And he says, you see, Mum, it was instant karma.
It was an instant karma.
It was instant karma. I'm saying about Peter when he was being naughty. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Instant karma.
instant karma.
Instant karma.
Yeah, it's
Funny,
interesting.
yeah.
And he knows that.
Yeah,
He knows
exactly.
when he's
No, but it looks like sometimes that he's just laying down on the floor, but actually he hears a lot. He
Yeah.
listens
Does he
to all these
listen?
things.
I know, I watch his face, and sometimes he's staring too, and his eyes go up. He stares at me. He does listen. Anyway, on that note, we'll finish today, and we'll continue with the Gita. It seems like you seem to enjoy it, so we'll continue.
We enjoy you telling it to us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you can see these scriptures, people have not changed in all these years. We're human beings are human beings. And so in any generation, even though we're stuck in Maya and evolution, we can realize. And if you don't worry. Next life, next body. The thing not to do is stress. Don't force. Just patiently wait. You know, sometimes I know I have to do certain things, and I know it's not the right time. And something in my brain is saying I have to do it, and some of my heart saying, no, it's not the right time. And I have to force myself to listen to that. Because I know that is the right road, and the other one is the wrong, it's rushing. You cannot rush things. You have to patiently wait.
endure.
And you know when the time is right. You know. And when you do it at the right time, at least you get the blessings of the God. You do it in your time, you may not. You may receive some gifts, you know. So just patiently wait. You will know. It will be clear. So I hope that helps you as much as it helps me to make lots of decisions in my life. So especially in the early days with yoga when confusion was like there all the time. And it's really nice, it's clear. So I'm just telling you, if I can get clear with my confused mind, all of you can do it. All of you can do it. And you must know this, because the self is in all of us. Like he said, in all of us. And we must give people that message. But the thing is not to worry. That's the secret. And don't stress. Okay? Just trust. Trust. Like Draupadi. The gods are pulling at you so hard, so hard. Surrender. I trust. Just do that. I surrender. And physically do it. I surrender.